Welcome, everyone. I want to try today something different and to offer you the text and the questions that were in the last circle that I offered, the soul circle. The text is about childhood pain. It was written by Robert Moore, and it's several excerpts that I chose from his essay, From Painful Childhood to Generative Adulthood. I will add a link in the description. My plan is to start with a breathing grounding exercise to get into the body and to see what's present right now in us. Feel free to skip it if you are not interested in it, but I recommend it. After that, I will read Robert Moore's text, and then I will present two questions that were in the circle, and I invite you to stop the video and reflect on them, see what comes up for you. And if you'd like, I invite you to share your reflections in the comment section. Then I will answer it for myself. And that's the idea of this video. Let's arrive with our minds and our bodies. Find a comfortable position. Close your eyes if that feels right. Take a deep breath in through the nose and let it go slowly through the mouth. Again, breathe in and release. One more, feeling the chest, the belly, and letting it all go. Now let your breathing return to its own natural rhythm. No effort. Just notice the weight of your body wherever it rests. Feel your feet on the floor, your hands. Let gravity hold you. Today we're going to explore something that touches all of us. The blessing we received as children and the blessing we didn't receive. We're going to look at what it means to carry that absence and what it might feel like to finally offer that blessing to ourselves. Breathe in slowly through the nose and out through the mouth. With each exhale, let something in you soften. Your jaw, your shoulders, your chest. One more breath in, and as you release it, arrive fully into this room and this moment. Let's begin. We'll read now a few excerpts from Robert Moore's essay. The psychoanalyst Heinz Kohut believed that most psychological disorders resulted from a wounding of the healthy sense of self-love that should have developed in childhood. The child's naturally emerging sense of power, beauty, and joy should not have been attacked or rejected by the parents, but rather mirrored by them. That is, it should have been welcomed, celebrated, and reflected back to the child as a primary value and something the child could always count on the parents to support. The anger and rage that a child normally feels towards the limitations and conditions of human existence should not be ignored or rejected, but responded to by the parents with understanding and empathy. Many people, unfortunately, did not get good enough parenting or good enough nurturing or a good enough holding environment to develop the adequate sense of self-worth needed to maintain a satisfying, successful adult life. Under these adverse conditions of childhood, they sustain what Kohut called narcissistic wounds that plague them for the rest of their lives, simply because they did not receive adequate mirroring by their parents and other significant people in their early lives. What is mirroring? I have come to call it the eye of blessing, the gleam in the eye of a parent or emotionally significant older person who looks at you in a manner that you can tell they are really looking at you, not at some other image they might want to see. Children are uncannily knowledgeable about the difference. They know when the parent or other older person is seeing them and when they are seeing something else. Mirroring, in other words, is not something passive, even though it may sound like it is. The more wounded the parents were in childhood, and the less celebrative they feel about their own true selves, then the more they will try to use their children to compensate for what they did not get for themselves. This usually leads to mutual chronic disappointment. Most problems between parents and their children are exacerbated by the parents' feeling of inadequacy. It is intriguing how easy it is to hurt the feelings of parents who are supposedly mature people. What is the easiest way? Perceived lack of mirroring from a child. They just assume it is the child's job to mirror the parents and give them what they need to feel good about themselves. That is crazy, of course. Just the opposite of what family life should be about, because it should not be the child's job to mirror the parents. Anytime you have parents, however, who are emotionally children, the child will immediately and intuitively start trying to parent them. Inside every child is a natural therapist, and you can understand why. They intuit that if I expect to get anything from this person, I'm going to have to heal them first. I need to make them feel better, or they won't be able to give me anything emotionally. So they start trying it. To understand a person emotionally, you have to notice which way they expect the emotional flow to go in their relationships with other people. An older person who expects to be adored and mirrored all the time is not really old at all psychologically, but is in fact a very hungry and needy child. We all have that need, of course, but the task of becoming a mature human being in life is to get that hunger under control and get conscious about it, so we don't constantly act it out. Acting out is a clinical term for people doing things without knowing why they are doing them. It means unaware, unconscious behavior. Consider, for example, the daughter who always wanted her father's blessing, while he always wanted her to give him her blessing. So you have two children in conflict. The father may be 60 years old and look to the daughter like king of the mountain, but within himself he feels like a little boy with hurt feelings because this daughter does not seem to treat him with appropriate respect. She views him as a person who can never give her anything because he's holding out on her until she totally caves in and becomes an obedient daughter. This may go on for years until the father dies, and neither of them can break out of it. It is enormously important for us to start understanding again the stewardship of being an elder, because it is our job to become conscious of and deal with our feelings of vulnerability and woundedness in our own inner child, so we don't continue looking for the parent's gleam from the eyes of our own children or from the eyes of those people younger than us in our businesses, our workplaces, or in our church. We need to understand the importance of becoming more expressive of our delights in others. And this is particularly true when we are in the position of being an elder. That's what a blessing is. We need to become artists of blessing. We need to stop adhering to one erroneous concept that we have come to believe, that blessing is a scarce item, and if you give it away, you might run out. The reality is that the more love you give, the more you have to give. And the more delight you take in people, the more delightful they seem to you, and the more delight and joy you experience. The more you allow yourself to see people's beauty, the more beauty you will see everywhere. It is not a zero-sum game. It feeds on itself and grows, and that is the truth, contrary to this sense of scarcity that most of us grew up with, unless we were very lucky. So that's the text, and I will read now the first question. And again, I invite you to stop the video and see what comes up and try to answer it for yourself. And if you'd like to share it on the comments, I invite you to do that. The first question is, looking back at your childhood, where did you receive the eye of blessing? And where did you feel its absence? And which of those two has shaped you more? So I'll start with the absence. As a child, I'm the eldest of three boys. I can't say that I was blessed by my parents. My mother was always stuck in her own battle of survival, depression, anxiety, and she did her best, I'm sure, but she didn't have extra to give me in the sense of blessing. My father was always stuck in his own struggle. His childhood was very difficult. His father was not present either and violent. And so my father didn't bless me. He was fundamentally insecure, but presented as a very strong man. I was never good enough in his eyes. He was criticizing me and judging as I wasn't masculine enough, as I was too sensitive. He gave me the opposite of blessing, as Robert Moore says, cursing. I didn't find my way to connect with masculinity and with my father in a healthy way. And it took me many years to establish that connection despite my relationship with my father. The change came when I realized how wounded my father was and that he acted from that woundedness, not from strength or masculinity. And it helped me to connect with my own masculinity in a way that bypassed my relationship with him. It also helped me see him in a different light and allowed me to reach him and develop a different relationship with him. Now, the first blessing I feel that I got is the relationship with my grandfather, my paternal grandfather. A bad father to my father, but an amazing grandfather to me. He was very loving. He was a man that celebrated life. He liked to dance and sing, and he made a lot of jokes, and he was a very strong man. And the connection with him as a child and a teenager was very important for me, and in hindsight, significant for my development. The second person that I feel blessed by as a child is my maternal grandmother, Ruth. She was living with us since I was 7 until 12, and I was very close to her. She became disabled after a few years, and I was treating her in a way, and I felt a lot of love from her. So that's also very significant for me. Then I can say that the real blessing, literal blessing that I got was when I was around 14, 15 from a teacher named Jacob. And he was the first adult that appreciated me and expressed it with words. He was the philosophy teacher. So it was a kind of a philosophy class in school. And he appreciated my mind, and he expressed it, and it really nurtured me and was very significant for me and helped me to believe in my ability to think. And I started reading and writing as a consequence. So I owe a lot to Jacob. I would say that what shaped me more would be both the blessing and the absence of blessing shaped me. I feel that the absence of blessing contributed to my sensitivity to feeling unworthy, and so becoming more sensitive to other people feeling that way. In that sense, I feel it is a blessing. It helped me develop my empathy for others. Okay, so the next question is, speak now to the child inside you, who looks into your eyes and who was never fully seen and truly blessed. What do they need to hear? Say to them in your own voice, as the elder you are becoming. I would say that you are beautiful, just as you are. You don't need to look like anyone that you admire on the television, and you don't need to obsess over different parts of your body and think that they are ugly, because they are beautiful as they are. You are beautiful as you are. And you're safe. You're safe, and you will survive the struggles of childhood, and you'll become more and more yourself in time. And the pain and suffering will be a big part of it. Also, you are special. I know that you know that you're very different from children around you, but you're not only different, you're special. You have a lot of potential that requires time and work to realize and express, and it will happen. And you'll do what you love, and you grow up, and all this pain will help you help others, and will help you to become stronger. And I love you. I love you. Thank you for being here. I hope this video offered you something that can serve your path and your growth. And I'll see you soon.